Before we can actually upload our app, we need to worry about the database. Nothing will work if the database is not there already in the cloud, because when we call the application, the very first thing it will try to do is it will try to produce a session cookie for us and store it in the database associated with the session. So if you don't have a cloud database, boom, it will explode immediately. Nothing will work. So here the problem is that we have been so far connecting to a database, this one, that is just defined locally. So if you go and look at the settings DB URI, okay, here somewhere in the database section, this will be just the local SQLite database, and I wanted to invent a mechanism so that this is still used if you are in development mode on your local laptop, because you still want to be able to develop. But I want to make sure that once we are in the cloud, we are actually going to use the real database. Okay, so I need a little bit of configuration there in command.py. So first of all, how do I distinguish whether I'm local or in the cloud? I import OS already, and so the way you distinguish is by saying something like if os.environ.get guy_env. Okay, this is a variable that will be set for Google App Engine. And now I say pass, because I don't know what to write yet, and then I say else. So the meaning of this is that if we will be not on Google App Engine, we will be using our local database, and if we are on Google App Engine, we are going to use the cloud database. So here, instead of pass, now I want to give the definition, and what I want to do is simply say the same thing as I say here, essentially. Okay, but instead of saying DB URI, etc., I want to say cloud DB URI, cloud DB folder, cloud DB pool size, cloud DB migrate, and cloud DB fake migrate. Okay, so now I have to create these settings in my settings. So in my settings file, I produce the cloud DB URI, pool size, migrate, and fake migrate. So what are the important points here? Cloud DB migrate has to be false. See, it is true for the local database, but it is false for the cloud database. This is exceedingly important. Let me mark it. Important. So I don't know if you have ever wondered how comes that whenever you say something into your models.py file, the database is created exactly according to your wishes. This is because the dbmigrate setting here is true. dbmigrate means please Py4Web. When you see a declaration of database tables, please ensure that my real database matches my declaration. Now, this is incredibly useful when you develop, but it is also incredibly dangerous when you are in a production setting, because Py4Web is actually kind of smart in trying to convert your tables, but this works when the tables are simple and not safety critical. To give you an example, suppose you rename a column. For example, instead of name, you change it to first name. What Py4Web actually does is that it creates a new column called first name, then it copies everything in the column name to a column first name, and then it will delete the column name. This is okay if the database is small, but if the database is large, you really want to manage this kind of migrations yourself. So I truly recommend that you set cloud DB migrate is equal to false. Fortunately, I don't think it actually works to set it to true due to peculiarities in how the migration is implemented on the Google Cloud. So it sort of may prevent you from making this mistake. But again, please leave cloud DB migrate to false. Also here in command.py, let's remove this cloud DB folder that doesn't exist anyways. this would be the folder where the SQLite database is, and we are not using SQLite. Okay, so I remove that. Now in the remaining settings, let's look at what we have. We have a cloud database URI. This will be a pointer to our Google Cloud database, which will be sitting into Google MySQL DB, and then we will have the database user, the database password, and the database name, the Unix socket, and the database connection. So these 4 variables, DB user, DB password, DB name, and DB connection, I will define them again in my secret settings, but I want to show you nevertheless how I do create a cloud database for use here. Finally, there is another couple of changes we need to do. There is an upload folder, which is where the uploads go, and there is a static folder, and these folders are created on demand. Now, in the Google Cloud, the file system is static, so we cannot create anything on demand. We have to comment out these 2 lines, this one and this one, and correspondingly, we have to go in common.py. Then, in common.py, there is again this story with the upload folder to create the directory where the uploads go, and we really do not want these, right? Because we cannot modify the file system. So let's comment the whole section out. Okay, these are the changes we need to make to enable upload.